Hey folks, I'm Melhorn, and if you want to know what I do to find fish, you're going to want to watch this video. Today I'm going to a reservoir I fish regularly, but I never fish at this end of the lake, so it's like fishing new water. As you can see right there, folks, there's a lot of bait, there's a lot of fish mixed in there. Whether that's catfish, bass, don't know, but some of these arches are pretty significant, thick arches. I'm gonna bet money that there's some catfish stacked in there. Yeah, we got the wind blowing this way up here into this creek. There's a lot of bait, there's a lot of birds around here. This could be the perfect storm for drifting. That water temp, that is nice. All right guys, so here's the system, here's the spread. I've got 8 rods out. I've got 6 of them on the bottom. Various configurations of the Hooker's Terminal Tackle line rattles, the Demon Dragon style rattles, and also some drift rigs with no rattles at all. Equal number of each. And I've got 2 rods that are straight down underneath the boat, suspended around 20 to 25 feet where a lot of these fish seem to be suspended. Fishing all gizzard shad today, fresh gizzard shad, and that's kind of the plan. There's a lot of bait, a lot of fish in here. We're just going to see if we can find a couple of hungry ones. Looks like we got a small one on one of the drift rigs. Not sure which drift rig it's on. It's all Santee style drift rigs that I'm using. Got 20-pound Mamoy monofilament line, 50-pound Andy leaders. Try to get this sucker around my drift sock. He's small, so I should be able to maneuver him. There he is. I'm down to the water. Yeah, good go. These are some circle hooks I use from Hooker's Terminal Tackle. Great hooks, portable. Nice channel, kid. Release him alive. Alright, I think I got one buttoned up there. Catch it on the lose reel. Lose. Obviously the reel doesn't have anything to do with catching the fish. Oh, get out of the drift sock, get out of the drift sock, you're in the drift sock. Poor angling right there, folks. That's poor angling skill. It's funny, this one that was hung up is almost looking like it got bit, which is entirely possible if you get the sinker snagged. I'm going to reel over to it and see what happens. The closer I get to this thing, the more I feel something. I can't tell. I actually think I may have a fish on here. It feels like it's in a brush pile, but I think it's out. There we go. Yeah, I think it was a fish. It was on a snag. It's loose now. Turn that motor off. Good fish. Good one there. About 10 pounds. Hang back a little. Another one. The Hooker's Terminal Tackle. Circle hook and line rattle. So yeah, what happened right there was I was getting up to the bank and getting ready to pull all my lines in. One of my lines got hung up. I was kind of going up on a little point there, and getting up close to the bank, getting ready to reel stuff in. One of my rods folded over, picked it up, could tell it was hung on something. Let it sit there, got the rest of the stuff in, loosened up the drag, and just let it pull off line. Got a few shots of it, just showing how smooth the drag was on it, and got the rest of the stuff in. was going to get that one, started cranking on it, and thought I felt a head shake. Took a minute, finally felt it. It felt like it was snagged and a fish had hit the bait while it was snagged. Probably what happened was the sinker or snap swivel got hung on something and it basically anchored it up. So yeah, ended up getting the fish and putting it in the boat, and we're gonna make another drift through here. There's a lot of bait, a lot of fish in here. I'm not sure if that's necessarily a good thing. Sometimes it's great to see all that stuff, but it can also mean that fish may not be biting, especially if there's an abundance of food around. So we're gonna make another pass through, see what happens, and then maybe go fish away from this on the fringes and see if there are more hungry fish in that area. All right, folks, try to give you a little on the boat tutorial here. As you can see, this red line is where we ran up the river. That's a point that comes out, underwater point. See, that water is a lot shallower up here than it is up here. This is the creek channel. Came up here, looked around, reset, and then came back over here, started my drift. I made the first drift all the way across, picked off a couple of fish, got that last one right there on about that point. It starts going up there. Kind of a long, kind of slowly sloping point that comes out over here. Got that one. It was somewhere right in there because you can see where I circled around with the boat when it was hung up. And picked off the blue there, so maybe we'll zoom in here a little bit. I could tell you that some of these fish, the blue especially, was hanging somewhere right here on this point. That could be some info. We'll see what happens as we go across. Right now we're right here. We're going to kind of make a parallel drift across here. Most of the stuff is out here in the deeper part of this part of the creek channel. That's where the birds are. We're kind of on a good line right now to go all the way back over here, which will give us a really long drift all the way across here, and should let us know if these are biting fish in here or not. Looks like another small channel cat. Yeah, kind of got that head shake of a channel. Catching fish, just can't find the blues, the bigger blues anyway. Yeah, this feels like a small one. Alright. I'm just happy to be catching fish. I'm also happy that I'm fishing in shorts for the first time this year. Had a pretty rough winter. It's finally started to warm a little bit. I don't think winter is behind us, but it's nice to be in shorts and flip-flops. Pretty little channel. Some live. Bare rig with no rattles. And a hooker's terminal tackle circle hook. Good to go. So yeah, when you pull up into a place like that and you see a lot of bait, a lot of fish, a lot of arches, it can be good, it can be bad. It's hard to tell. You just have to fish it. There's no way to know in advance. You got to fish it and see what's working. What happens is that bait's been there for a while, fish have been there for a while, forage fish have been there. Fish can feed up, they can eat, and they may just be hanging around waiting for the next feeding cycle. There's always one or two fish that are going to hit. Pretty much no matter how much you're eating, there's always one or two stragglers that are late to the table or early to the table. So you kind of have to fish it to see what's going on, but a lot of times you're better off reeling up and moving away from these fish, getting on the fringes of it. And sometimes the bigger fish are not in the middle of the fray of all the stuff. A lot of times they'll shy away from it. Sometimes they are, but if you're not getting hit, there's no point in fishing it and fishing it and fishing it. Sometimes you're better off going to the fringes, moving away from it. There's something in this area that's holding the fish, and usually there's going to be some feeder fish somewhere around, staged up, maybe on points, maybe on some humps, waiting for these schools of fish to move by, and then they'll feed. Folks, I'm coming up on my last hope on this drift. That's this hump right here. The hump out here out in the middle of this big flat in this creek. I've only picked off that one channel cat coming across here, so I'm hoping maybe there's something right there on the fringe of that hump. One of the really tough things about this late February, early March time period, especially when it warms up, is figuring out exactly what the fish are doing. It feels like spring, starts to look a little bit like spring. You can come out here in shorts. There is a good fish. He's there. There he is. There he is. Finally got hooked up on a decent one. Feels like a decent fish. Coming right up on the edge of that hump that I showed you. Not a monster, but it feels like a blue at least this time. Got a hump here I'm working near. That's where this one hit at. Got a hump here I'm working near. That's where this one hit at. Looks like a good fish. I think the one we caught earlier, probably even smaller. The blue though. There he is, folks. Good fish. Nice blue. And that one, if you're keeping score, came on a bear rattle. Really big hook. And a drifting stick. This is not the scented one, just one of their regular ones. I may have one on this rod. It went slack and went back tight. Yep, he's there. Right around that hump that I pointed out again. Small fish, but we'll take it. Hey, guess what? Came on one of the scented drifting sticks with one of the Demon Dragon style rattles. Little double action on the rattle there. It's fish. I think I just jigged the catfish on my little rod. It moved. I started bumping it around, and something thumped it. We'll take them any way we can get them. Oh, nice blue. I'm going to have to bogey him or he's going to snap my line. See if I can get him over here without breaking something. Oh, I got lucky on that one. Nice fish. About 12 pounds. Easy. Yes. Good fish. On light tackle. Well, I didn't finish up as strong as I wanted to. Caught some fish today, put 10 fish in the boat, but man, just couldn't close it up here at the end of the day with a big one. The bite started to wane for whatever reason, and it's been tough to pick a fish off here in the last couple hours, but it's the way it goes. Little experimenting here on this lower end of this lake, and we'll take what we got. Blessed to catch what we caught. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned a little something. Coming into spring, a lot of good fishing ahead. So I'm staying optimistic. If you like the channel, please hit subscribe, and hopefully you can get some more good information in the videos we have coming up, and be sure to hit that little bell symbol. That way you'll be notified when any new videos come out. Look forward to seeing you on the water.